Hello there and welcome to ADV Models. What we have is our second stage of building the Fiat G91 Yankee 1 in 48 scale made by ADV Models. Right, what I've managed to do today is we have come along and we've painted up our cockpit, we've weathered it up. We did this using a bit of my own homemade wash, and we've got some Flurry Models wash over there, and we've nicely dirtied that up and brought out all our instrument panels and everything. One thing was there was a need for a bit of sanding on the left and right side of the cockpit, and a bit of sanding underneath just to get it to fit in there. Also, before I glued it all together, I did a bit of dry fitting to see how well our couple of cockpit pieces were going to fit at the end, and I found that actually it was easier to glue part 51 in before putting our two pieces of fuselage together than putting this together and then waiting to the end to put that piece in. So as you can see, that's already in there. So if you do this kit, glue that in first, it fits nicely and you'll have a lot less problems than coming along afterwards and gluing that in last. We then came along and I glued our two fuselage pieces together. It did all go nicely, actually, quite surprisingly. It went nicely underneath, but if you remember, we had a big nasty gap and steps and everything at the top here. Now, the way I got round that was I simply, with my super glue, I just laid it on thick, just loads of it all over, just to fill in those gaps, and use the super glue as a filler. It did require a bit of sanding, but you know, once you sanded away the top layer of super glue, you do end up actually with a nice, if you can see, it's looking nice and seamless now. We've got that big gap all sorted, looking nice. There is a bit of Mr. Surfacer, as you can see here and there. These are just little spots of where there's it's not quite seamless, or I've slightly gone a bit too far with the scribing and stuff like that. We also had lots of air bubbles around the resin kit, which is you know, kind of the nature of resin. I got all them filled in, sanded out, they're all sorted, polished everything up. Also came along and we did all our scribing using, you know, all sorts of tools to get it all scribed up and back and nice, because after doing all that sanding and all the super glue, you know, we lost a lot of the detail, so that had to be taken care of. The other things that was needed to do was we've got our air intakes at the top here. I don't know how well you can see that, but they needed to be hollowed out because they were just well, there wasn't hollow, basically. There was those two up there, and then we had these two here as well. They needed to be hollowed out as well. We'd done a bit of sanding inside this air intake because that was a bit of the glue had seeped up, so we had to kind of sort that out as well. We've also cut out our wings here. They're fitting rather nice, actually. As you can see, they nicely go in. Once they're glued in, it's only going to require just a bit of filling around the edges, nothing major there, and they are looking really nice. Apart from that, that is basically it. I mean, you know, I did say in the last video, I've just got to come along. We put in our tails, and we put in our landing gear, air brakes, and we've got our few little bits and pieces here, pylons, and then we finish off with masking up the canopy and everything, and we should be good for spraying tomorrow. done a bit more research into this kit just to find out a bit more about it, just to give you a bit more information, and to be honest with you, I couldn't find much, which is kind of a good thing in a sense, because ADV Models, from what I could tell and what I could find, which was I couldn't find a website, I couldn't find anywhere to buy it. The only way I found I could buy this kit was you actually have to go off and email ADV Models, and you go through the order process that way. I also kind of found a bit here and there that it almost sounds like it's a bit of a one-man army, as well as I also found that, as far as I can tell, this is the only aircraft they have produced, and the only other item they've produced is this control stick, which says to me, you know, and I am just assuming here, so if anyone knows a bit more and they can kind of correct me, I mean, please, you know, drop a note in on the forum, but for the fact that this is all they've produced says to me that this is, you know, a relatively new company, a small company, and, you know, this is their first attempt. Now, if you take into account that this is their first attempt, you know, you do get the distinct impression that, you know, it is rather impressive that if this kit at this level, which is, you know, a very high level of standard for a kit, and this is their first attempt, I mean, I take my hat off to the company, because, you know, I mean, the standards for this is so high for such a first attempt is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, you know, they have, in so many cases through this build and the instructions and everything, beat Revell, Airfix, Hasegawa, you know, I mean, I am really impressed. I mean, I know I did go on about the price and, you know, maybe put a downer on the kit with that, but, I mean, if you're a G91 Yankee fan, you know, you're going to love this kit, you know. I mean, my personal opinion on the price may be whatever it is, but at the end of the day, if you're a fan, you're not going to mind paying £100, you know. I mean, in some ways as well, I mean, you know, companies like this, you know, you want to put your money into these kind of companies, because, you know, if they're producing this kind of stuff, yeah, and we buy their stuff, they're going to produce more stuff like this, and I would love to see, you know, if they produced anything else. I'd love to see what they are going to produce. I mean, to be honest with you, whatever they build, what they're going to produce next, I'd probably just buy it just to kind of build it, because, you know, I can just imagine this is going to look really nice when it's built. So apart from that, tomorrow we got spraying. I'm kind of guessing on Tuesday that the canopy is going to come for the F5 that I've put on hold, so I'm going to probably have to put this on hold on Tuesday and then pick it up again when the F5's done, so there will be a bit of a break with this one. But until then, tomorrow I'll put some more pictures up, we'll crack on with some spraying, and I'll put another video up then. As I say as well, if you've got any more information about this kit or the company, I'd love to find out about it, so whack that in the forum if you can. Until then, have a good day, happy Easter, and goodbye.